Hey everybody, this is Beyond the Mat. I'm Master Kemmer.
And I'm Master Mills.
Today we're going into our last video of Covey's 7 Habits. This is the 7th habit called Sharpen Your Saw. We're also going to be talking about the 4 principles that govern the 7 habits.
All right, so be sure to like and share, and let's get right into it. All right, so our last habit is sharpen your saw. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story to help illustrate this point. So there's 2 lumberjacks, and they're going to have a competition. One's younger, stronger, he's just got all this energy, and he's ready to just go. And then there's an older one who's a little wiser, has a little more experience. And so their competition is who can fell the most trees in one day. So the young one goes out, and he's sawing the trees, just felling tree after tree after tree. And while he's working on this, he can hear the other lumberjack doing his thing, felling the trees. But he noticed that that about every hour or so, the noise of the other lumberjack cutting down the trees would stop. And so he's thinking like, right on, I got this, I'm going, I got this youthful energy, I'm pushing through. And so this continues on with this on and off the stops, but while he keeps going. And finally at the end, they come to deciding who the winner is, and the judge is there. And the young guy was then blown away that the older lumberjack had taken down way more trees than he had. And he goes up to him and is like, how is this possible? You kind of keep on taking a break and resting, but I never stopped, I kept going. And so the older lumberjack said that, well, every hour I stopped to take a rest, but also to sharpen my saw. So he was fresh to go.
That's
and was able to work through. Yes, it is. All right, so this story has a few good tips to take away from it. One is that if we overuse our equipment, overuse our tools that we're going to be working with, and we don't give us a chance to recalibrate and refocus, that we're going to start losing our effectiveness. And so that's the same thing that we're talking about.
Wear yourself out.
Yes, wear yourself out. Just like we're talking about with the tools, the saws, when we use them, they eventually get dull and then stop working as effectively. The same thing's for ourselves. And so we need to have good upkeep of ourselves, being there's 4 different areas where we need to keep our upkeep on. There's the physical self, the mental self, the spiritual, and the social and emotional self. So physical self is going to be eating correctly,
working out,
exercising, but it's also going to be resting and recuperating and giving yourself that time to recalibrate and go and tackle the next challenge. Mental is going to be reading and educating yourself, but then also giving yourself that time to de-stress and relax.
Yes.
Spiritual is going to be getting in touch with yourself and go from your religious studies and things like that. Social,
church, things like that.
Yeah, social, emotional is going to be going out and seeing people, spending time with other people, not just interacting with people online and Facebook and stuff like that, but having that interaction with others and getting other people's feedback, getting other people's input, and having people involved in your life to build yourself up. So that's sharpening your saw.
Absolutely.
All right? Cool.
So the next thing we're going to go over is the 4 principles that govern all of these 7 habits. So the first one is you have to have the will to do it. Okay, so if you don't even have the will to do it, then you're not going to do any of them because you're just not going to want to.
Right, and that's an active choice.
Exactly.
Either, I can be wishing I'm going to do something else, or actually going out and actually doing it.
Right, so if you actually want change, right, like if you're lazy and I don't want to be lazy anymore, I have to actively want that piece of me to change, right? So that's number 1 is willpower, right? Okay, so the second one is moving from a state of dependence to a state of independence. Now that really goes over the first 3 habits, which are being proactive, beginning with the end in mind, and putting first things first. Those 3 have that dependence, right, to independence. You should be more free to do what you need to do, right? The third principle is social improvement. Okay, and that goes into the habits 4, 5, and 6, which 4 is think win-win. 5 is seek first to understand, then be understood. And 6 is synergize. That all goes into our interpersonal relationships with each other, right? So not just me anymore, right? Where the first 3 are more kind of about me. The next 4, 5, and 6 are about my interactions with other people.
Yeah, how you're interacting, how the give and take between 2
Exactly,
parties,
right? And then the last one, the 7, is just overall self-improvement. You want to re-energize, rejuvenate, regenerate, right? And number 7 just kind of that kind of covers sharpen your saw, but it also kind of goes into all of the whole purpose behind this is to improve ourselves, to grow, to get better or whatever it is, right? So just curious, what are some of the ways that you sharpen your saw? What are like the physical, mental, spiritual, social things that you do?
Well, physical is pretty easy. I mean, we do martial arts every single day.
Yep.
Probably what I'm worst at is eating healthy.
That's mine too.
Right, I'm worse at that, and then probably the second worst would be getting a good night's sleep. I usually stay up way too late.
I'm pretty good at getting sleep. I like sleep.
But working out and training like that sharpens that a lot. Mental, I read a lot. I try and absorb as much information as I possibly can.
Right.
And I like taking time with my dogs to go relax and just kind of let my mind kind of process what things I've been shoving into it.
Yeah, for me, for mental, I do a lot of I wouldn't say a lot of reading. I do a lot of podcasting.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm in the car, instead of listening to music, which sometimes I do that too. Sometimes that's mental too,
Oh,
right?
that's great.
I'll go in and I'll just start listening to music and just kind of get my mind off of things and just relax.
That'd be the regeneration
Side
side
of it.
not the improvement side.
Exactly, right? Because sometimes if I'm podcasting and learning so much, then you kind of reach a kind of like an overload kind of thing, and you're like, okay, I just need to chill out and listen to music, right?
Yeah. Then
what about spiritual?
Spiritual, I go to church. That's the main one I do. Also, I find doing my forms to be very meditative, and I kind of tie that in with the spiritual side, and being out in nature,
right?
Being out, going hiking and stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah, for me, I go to church also, and I would say a lot of the podcasts that I'm listening to, I'm either listening to something theological, religious, kind of thing. So I'm kind of learning more that way, or I'm listening to something political, So it's either going to be one of those two areas. Yeah.
Then last one, social, emotional. I like to talk. I'm a talker. Like if I have something that's on my mind, I'm going to grab someone that's close to me and I'm going to talk about that. And that's kind of develop a lot of that emotional stuff out.
Talks a lot.
Yeah.
A lot there. Yeah.
And just the way I process the information that's going on, then I think emotional regeneration is also probably hitting the bags.
Oh yeah.
I'm feeling something. This is why this is so. Come on.
Exactly.
Right? Better than sometimes hitting people are good too, but
sparring.
Yeah. Then social, I go out and I go line dancing a lot.
Yeah.
That's kind of the main social thing I do, and I have some close friends that I hang out with. But
yeah. I mean, I would say the same thing. Going out with friends. Hanging out with just even Nicole, my wife. And going out with her, going out with friends, or going out with my guy friends, or even just like coming early and talking to Greg. A bunch of different things like that. So there's a lot of different social things that are throughout my week that hit that need.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So hope you guys like this series we did on the 7 principles of highly successful, effective people. And so be sure to tune in next week. Be sure to like, share, hit the notification button so you guys can get notified when we have a new video up. And
awesome.
Have a good week.